Today on episode 11 of the Frick Frack podcast.
So he walks out,
Yeah.
and then he walks back in, and there's Yoda. Now that looks like a demon.
Also, he's little and green. He's got them eyes. I don't like them eyes.
I don't like the ears. They're pointy.
Yep, not allowed to watch it. Go back to watching VeggieTales.
Yeah, it makes my gut feel weird.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Frick Frack podcast. This week, I am in here with my good friend, Johnathan Schaefer. As always, say hi.
Hey guys, it's just us two. It's first time in 2 episodes that it's just us.
First two, we just had 2 awesome guests. If you guys haven't watched our episodes with Shama and Alex Griswold, be sure to go back and listen.
And
PD,
PD, you just totally forgot about
and
PD.
PD, I'm sorry, PD, but I'm sorry. I'm so
You're
sorry,
fake, Taylor.
I'm so sorry. I forgot, man. All right.
But those were 2 good episodes. But it's almost way easier just the 2 of us. It's way less to balance.
Way less stress. It's more vibe.
Wait, are you saying that those people are stressful?
No, I didn't say they're stressful. I'm saying we want to do a good job when we have guests on.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
it's like there's all this prep, and then we got all the like we got to have better camera setups. You got to screen record, and everyone's got a Skype call. We got to use Skype.
Yeah, I really do not like Skype.
Ask yourself, when's the last time you've wanted to use Skype to talk to anybody?
Yeah.
Never. I've used it to talk to like bosses or clients.
That's it.
And now our Frick Frack guests.
Frick Frack guests and future Frick Frack guests.
We've become the very thing
that
we wanted to destroy.
I really, I hate it every time we use it, but that's like the thing
that's the only way it works.
When you say video call, people just automatically think Skype, and so just kind of.
Well, he doesn't think FaceTime, guys, because he's just an Android guy.
I'm an Android boy.
He's an Android boy. So if any of y'all looking for an Android boy, he's right there. There you go. He grew up in church. He uses Android phones. Not sure why that's like I'm not sure why that would be a positive attribute for you.
There's
but if
one
it is,
girl out there that's her dream guy.
I just want someone who uses open source Android. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Anyway, I personally assure you any girls watching this podcast are probably on an iPhone.
Yeah, they're all on Apple
now.
Podcasts right now.
Apple Podcasts, which, by the way, if you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to drop that 5-star. That helps us a ton. Thank you so much.
And, this is the thing I realized. I was looking at Apple Podcast reviews on just the web browser, and it only said like 6 people had reviewed it a 5-star. But I realized that was only 6 people who left a comment as a 5-star. We actually have somewhere around like 22 5-star reviews on Apple iTunes. Or not iTunes. iTunes is dead now.
iTunes is dead. Rest
Apple
in peace.
Podcasts. But yeah, we have almost 22 5-star reviews.
Thank you guys for that. And yeah, so we're very thankful we have so many people listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify right now. It's really cool. And we just got out of those 2 episodes, which I just absolutely love. Those were fun. I feel like they were a really good podcast too.
Yeah, the ones with Alex and the Deuteronomies. Yeah.
Dude, who do we have coming up next? I feel like we have a couple more guests coming.
The next guest coming on Frick Frack will be Casey Doss and Tim Shropshire.
Oh, come on, my man.
Yeah, Tim. You guys know Tim from the video that Taylor did going to Carolina.
I drove to North Carolina, if y'all remember this, and we tried the spicy chicken biscuits for breakfast. I tried that with my friend Tim. We also tried the new sandwiches and the new strips and that kind of thing, and it was dope. Tim's an awesome guy. Can't wait to have him on the podcast. And then we have Casey Doss, which is so cool. That's so unique because, I grew up within the church culture I'm in, like there was ramp every year, Casey Doss, we heard him all the time.
Yeah. I think I heard him every summer for like 6 or 7 years because we went to the ramp every year. And so really excited to have him on.
And now he's coming on the Frick Frack podcast. Well, that's cool. Isn't that cool how life works sometimes, guys?
It comes full circle.
It comes full circle. Which, growing up in church, it's so funny, the people that we know of and the people we look up to so highly, but people that were like outside, they have no idea who we're talking about.
Which that's kind of cool that they're finally going to get a glimpse into that, because Casey is one of those people that a lot of people may not know who he is, but I think when you hear his thoughts and his ideas, you guys are really gonna like him.
Yeah. He said something on Facebook recently I won't bring up, but I definitely disagreed with it. You're not going to hear about it today, though.
Let's just say it wasn't kind towards Chick-fil-A.
It was not kind towards. Like I said, I'm not going to get into it. We will save that for another time.
Taylor's, yeah. He hasn't been able to get that off his mind. I've been trying to calm him down, but let's just say there will be a day of reckoning.
Y'all know when you go into the shower and you think of a conversation you had 2 weeks ago or an argument and you know exactly what to say?
Yeah. But then it's too late.
It's too late. The difference is now I'm having that, but it's pre.
Oh.
It's
so you're coming up with all the right things to say.
About that Chick-fil-A thing. Yeah, about that. Oh, man. But no, I remember... I remember growing up, you heard Casey Doss, Eddie James. I don't know if y'all Eddie James, but Eddie James music. That was all through. You should have been there when I came through. Church was on fire and the Holy Ghost too. That was we heard that all the time. You know, that was that. We even had that in kids' church. Kids' church. Y'all been to kids' church? Schaefer, what was your kids' church like?
Kids' church? I was raised in kids' church because my parents were the kids' church pastors.
Oh.
And so that's another thing we have in common. Your parents are currently kids' pastors.
Mm-hmm.
Which maybe that's a little different because I was a kid in kids' church.
Mm-hmm.
You are an adult helping in kids' church. And so, but yeah, I mean, I grew up in kids' church and every, Change Wars.
Of course, them Change Wars. Y'all know them Change Wars, right? They bring out the buckets of coins.
Bucket of coins.
Tell me if I'm wrong at your church, because this is how it was at my church. Tell me if I'm wrong. The girls win almost every Change War.
Every time. There was only one time ever in the history that I know of kids' church that the guys won. And that was 1 week when a kid, one boy, brought in his own water jug thing full of change on the last week, and he single-handedly won us the Change Wars.
What a legend!
And that's the only time I think I've ever tasted victory in a Change Wars.
He will go down in history. I've made it through, probably I want to say I can remember 8 Change Wars across youth group, kids church, and kids crusades that I was at. Girls won, I think, all of them.
You know what I think it is because if a girl goes and asks her dad for money, daddy's little girl is gonna get what
oh, you want to win the coin? What? Give me a second. The son asks, "Hey, Dad, can I get some money for
what?
Yeah, exactly. For what? The Change Wars? Well, why don't you go get a job?
Go mow a lawn.
Yeah, go mow your neighbor's lawn. Ask him for money. Huh? Do you contribute around here? I don't think so. Go get a job. Dad, I'm 8 years old. Go get a job. Go work at Chick-fil-A.
You gonna learn what hard work means.
Exactly. Just
back in my day.
Back in my day.
Yeah, that's when
back in my day with the coin wars at kids' church, we went out into the streets and we sold corn bales for 14 cents and then we put it in the coin wars.
I don't think I've ever heard of a corn bale.
Corn bale? Well, yeah, I guess there's bales of wheat. Corn is what would that be, a bucket?
We're really going into territory that we have no idea what we're talking about. So maybe we should just
I thought of corn. Yeah.
Because I'm sure our small farmer
audience, the two farmers that are listening right now on their tractor
are like,
I can't believe I'm so disappointed.
Yeah. It was like, I'm
so disappointed in this. I was watching this podcast.
Now, why do they have Southern accents? Not all farmers just have Southern accents.
Great. Now you made me offend the one farmer that's not a Southern listening
He just
to this
left
show.
too.
And
you know what? I just assumed he was a guy.
Oh,
could have been a girl farmer.
No, we're so sorry. We have to put in an apology video to farmers now.
Apology to Frick Frack farmers.
I know there's 3 of you. I just wanted to say we apologize so deeply for mischaracterizing you.
Dude, a new dating website, Frick Frack Farmers.
Christian farmers. Christians.
Yes, but no, specifically Frick Frack listeners. So it's even smaller.
It's literally just the 2 listeners right now.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's
just
do
put
it.
them together. Oh man, no, but Change Wars was a staple of every kids' church and youth group.
I think so. I think that's even something that probably goes across denominations.
Denominational boundaries. Do you hear that, guys? We're crossing denominational boundaries on this show.
One fundraiser at a time.
One fundraiser at a time. Change Wars. Dude, kids' church. I remember coming into kids' church. I'd come into kids' church. See, like you said, you grew up with your parents being children's pastors. Yeah. When I grew up, part of the time they were children's pastors, but most of it they were just on staff at our church, and they worked in the kids' ministry, in nursery and in kids' church. And so when I would go in there, first of all, It's fire because you get to be there early before everybody else.
There are certain perks.
There are perks. And
Yes.
let's not pretend that there weren't candy buckets sitting around that...
Accessing candy was never an issue as a kid.
It was never an issue. If you wanted Tootsie Rolls, which are disgusting,
yeah.
but if you wanted Snickers or a Twix, whatever it was...
Yeah, you got all the Gucci candy.
We were the plug. We were the plug.
Yeah.
And you had your best friends be like, bro, can I get
a hookup?
Can I get a Twizzlers? All right, don't tell my dad though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you went and you
But with every upside, there is a downside.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, Easter rolls around. You got your Easter egg hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who's going to fill those 5,500 eggs?
Exactly.
You better bet it's the kids.
Is it going to be the paid staff members of the church?
No.
No
It's
way.
going to be the kids of the kids' pastor.
Exactly.
So mom and dad say, they walk away. They say, hey, we're going to go do some paperwork or whatever. When I come back, all these eggs better be filled. And then there goes your whole Saturday.
Yep, you're sitting there filling eggs. I remember doing stuff like that. I remember our church, we always did this thing with cotton candy for some reason. Everybody there liked cotton candy. So we had a cotton candy machine. We had to make cotton candy. And I remember when we first got the cotton candy machine back there, I thought I was going to get to make the cotton candy with the cotton candy machine. And that looked cool to me, to be able to make cotton candy for kids' church. It's going to go in these bags. We're going to give it out to all the members of the church. But no, I didn't get the job to make cotton candy. I got the job of getting the already made cotton candy and putting it into the bags and then tying the top part.
Either way, it was forced labor.
It was forced labor. And you gotta, but you know what? There was some pieces of cotton candy that flew into the air that you could and eat if you wanted to. You could just grab it with 2 fingers. And no one was going to mind if you took a bag or 2 and you ate them.
There was, that's the thing about those big events is there was always leftovers.
Uh-huh.
And so you always...
Hey, even the priests ate of the showbread of the temple. Don't get mad at us.
You're not wrong.
Don't get mad at us for having a little cotton candy.
Player's going to play.
Player's going to play. You sitting back there. For me, it was like in the nursery wing. There's one TV playing like VeggieTales. Yeah. It's the same VeggieTales episode you've watched 10 times. And yet somehow it's still kind of good. So shout out to Phil Vischer, Mike Naraki for making that.
Love you guys.
Where it's, it's still pretty good after watching it all those times. You're sitting back there watching that. Dude, I remember my church was kind of bougie. And I had a PlayStation 2 in the back.
That is bougie.
We had a PlayStation 2. Now, mind you, this is still 5 or 6 years after that released that we got that. So it wasn't like we didn't get it right away. I mean, it's still kind of bougie. But I'd sit back there and, dude, Lego Star Wars 2. Now that's where it was.
I'm surprised your parents let you play that.
I was allowed to play
Was
Lego
Star Wars okay in your house?
Star Wars was that was 50-50 now that I think about it. Because I was allowed to watch the Star Wars that wasn't rated PG-13. So like basically episode 1 I watched. Episode 2.
Gotcha.
And then when I got a little bit older,
I thought all the prequels were PG-13. Maybe I'm wrong.
Episodes 1 and 2 were both PG.
Okay,
you're right. The third episode was PG-13.
The third that chose to get edgy. They're like, all right, we got to switch it up.
Yeah, they're like, we got one more shot with George Lucas here.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it was the best one of the prequels, but...
I would argue it was the best one of the entire film series, but we're not going to get into that today.
Yeah, I'm going to have to...
Yeah, you know what? Knock it off.
Disagree there.
Yeah, okay.
Episode 4, 5, and 6 for me. But, yeah.
See, I never liked the originals for some reason. I know that sounds awful. I mean, I like them. They're good movies, but when I was a kid...
They're classics.
The prequels, hit for me.
Yeah, as a kid, the prequels did hit, but going back as an adult, it's like a whole different...
Part of it being, I wasn't allowed to watch episode 3 till I got a little bit older, made episodes 1 and 2 so much cooler.
Yeah. I remember Star Wars was also kind of a 50-50 thing.
It's like 50-50.
In my house.
It depends on if you ask your mom or your dad.
It really did, because I felt like... I don't know who was okay with it. I can't remember. But I just remember watching, I think it was episode 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. And my dad would walk in during part of it. He's like, that looks pretty cool. It's kind of like Bible Man. 2 people swinging swords. That's cool.
They're fighting with swords. I mean, that's, Bible says carry a sword of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Doesn't it, honey? Yeah? See? It's all right. You know what? You watch it.
So he walks out.
Yeah.
And then he walks back in and there's Yoda. Now that looks like a demon.
Oh, come on, man.
So, I mean, it's like, he's okay with part of it, and then he sees something that maybe what he thinks looks like a demon, so then it's like, game over. Then, we're not watching the rest of this.
I don't know. That Yoda character. Yoda. Backwards, that's O'Day. O'Day sounds like the Hebrew root word for Lucifer. I don't know how, and I don't know where that information came from. I definitely just pulled that out of the air, but that's probably what it is. Saw it on Facebook. What's Facebook? Honey, it's that new website that just came out 2 weeks ago. Haven't you heard about it already? Also, he's little and green. He's got them eyes. I don't like them eyes.
I don't like the ears. They're pointy.
Yep, not allowed to watch it. Go back to watching VeggieTales.
Yeah, it makes my gut feel weird.
Dude.
Love you, Dad. I love my parents.
I love my parents,
Let's talk about this a little, because me and you, we both grew up kind of similarly with our childhood being sheltered to a certain extent with the things that we were able to watch and play. And we make fun of it a lot now. Yeah,
yeah, we do.
It's like half of our content most of the time. But like, how do you look back at your childhood with the things that you were and weren't allowed to watch and play? Do you look back at it with a certain amount of regret or like thankfulness?
I would say generally speaking, thankfulness. You know, it's like for us, I think a lot of it was, one, I like playing video games in general.
Yeah,
like TV. Like I wasn't really fighting over TV. That just wasn't happening. I wanted to play my Nintendo GameCube. Do you guys remember the Nintendo GameCube?
Yeah, dude, I had a GameCube. Yeah,
you had a GameCube. What's your favorite game on the GameCube? 1, 2.
I'm trying to think which game I played on GameCube.
5 seconds. 4.
I think Mario Party, probably.
This man said Mario Party.
I can't remember which games
Mario
I had
Party's
on GameCube.
A lot of you are going to agree with him, though, and say Mario Party.
You know what? I had the Mario Kart. The Mario Kart that came
Double
out.
Dash?
Yeah, Double Dash. I played a lot of Double Dash.
See, I could get, sometimes, I like my mom, it wasn't necessarily a video game thing, but she never wanted me to play video games for too long. She like felt it was going to
It was a duration thing.
Yeah, it was a duration
It's like, okay, go outside. I don't care what you do, but just go outside, run around. I don't care. Dirt bike. It's like anything. It could be more dangerous than anything, but as long as you were outside.
Really?
My mom felt good.
Ah, so you had it like that. See, my mom didn't really want me to play outside that much, mostly just because, like, I think I just in general was fragile. Also, I had a tendency to just run into things or fall off of things. I think I have one finger that's still crooked. I could show you on the thing because I smashed in a door once.
Oh my goodness.
I smashed my fingers in doors several times.
So you were basically just like in a room full of pillows, protected.
Not so much like that. I do remember that sometimes though, like you'd go to play video games, and you'd be like, "Well, have you read your Bible? As long as you're going to play video games today." And it was like that, and you'd have to be like, "Yeah, no, you haven't. Don't you lie?
Don't you lie?
Yeah, don't.
Now you got to read 20 minutes longer." Congrats.
Did you read your 3 chapters? You know, you read through the whole year if you read 3 chapters a day. So you had to read. And she was right, though. You know, she was right, though.
No, they're always right.
Yeah, they're always right. That's the thing. When you're a kid, you just always like, oh, come on. I just want to, come on. Like, come on, you know.
So which games/shows?
I could play Mario Kart Double Dash because my siblings could play it with me.
Yeah.
So Mom, William wants to play Mario Kart.
Yeah, you can pull that card. Which we both grew up with a lot of siblings, which is another thing.
Yeah, I'm one of 9 siblings.
And I'm one of 6.
One of 6.
And so,
beat you. I had nothing to do with it. But you know
you literally have 0 part of that process.
Still, a win's a win.
Yeah, take the dubs.
Enneagram type 3s. Y'all know what I'm talking.
I'm just over here like, all right.
I don't know what that is. But no, I remember like Mario Kart Double Dash. Pretty much Nintendo games. That's pretty much what I played, honestly.
So which games or shows that you wanted the player watch were you not able to?
I wanted to play Call of Duty, but that was. I don't think that was so much. It was violent. Like for me, it was more that I had siblings all the time, and it was kind of like, you know, we just don't need to play that.
We just don't need to.
And did we need to? I didn't need to play that. No, it was fine.
See, this is where me and you had a little bit different. See, because you're the oldest of your family.
So I'm the guinea pig.
Yeah, you were like the standard was set for you.
Yeah.
Your mom and your dad sat down and had a conversation about, okay, how are we going to raise our children?
Exactly.
And they decided on a certain set of principles, and they set you to that standard.
Yeah.
I'm the second youngest of 6. And so every parent that has multiple children sets a certain standard for their first child. Mm-hmm. And then that standard slowly lowers. And so by the time I was, a kid playing games, my brother Jeff, who was the 3rd oldest, was able to play Call of Duty, but it was just Jeff. Just Jeff. Jeff could play them.
Jeff pled his case.
But, there was nothing stopping from me and Jeremy, the youngest sibling, going down there in the basement and basically watching the entire campaign play out. And, my dad was a history war buff. And so he's like, there's probably nothing wrong with that because, it's basically a history lesson, right?
I mean, listen, honey, it's American history. They need to know about the freedoms we fought for. So he was allowed to play Call of Duty. I played. Y'all ever heard of Nintendogs on the DS?
Yeah,
I loved that game.
Yeah, but when it comes to TV shows, that's probably where we're probably exactly alike.
You think so? I mean, I straight up didn't really watch. I can't even really think of any TV shows I watched other than Christian TV shows.
Yes. I mean, I could maybe get away with watching SpongeBob, but even that sometimes it's that looks a little rebellious the way he talked to his boss there.
I don't like the attitudes displayed on the show. Like that.
Yeah.
I could get away with watching SpongeBob if I went to a friend's house.
Yeah. Friends' houses were the best.
Yeah. You get to their friend's house and it's like, hey, and they're like, hey, and you're like, hey, it's hey, what's up? Yeah. Turn your TV on.
Go to Nickelodeon. Fairy Godparents is on at night. Because that's when I couldn't watch Fairy Godparents.
Dude, I do remember that. I remember distinctly watching that in a hotel room when I was going to a kids camp, summer camp in Alabama, and I was staying in a room with my dad and a bunch of other kids, and they wanted to watch that. And so my dad was like, okay with it. And I was sitting there just like, wow.
I've never seen this before.
This is hilarious. You guys are allowed to watch. You guys get to watch this every day? What?
Yeah. I think me and you, we were pretty limited in our entertainment consumption. So, for me, it was, Bible Man, Bill Gunner.
Mm-hmm. Don't y'all be forgetting about Bill Gunner.
People sleep on Bill Gunner.
They sleep on Bill Gunner.
They really do. And somehow
half y'all don't even know what we're talking about when we say Bill Gunner.
It is such a good series, and I will stand by it to this day.
Same, to my dying breath.
We really got to give that man some more exposure. I don't know how.
We got to do something.
Somehow, but it's such a good series. Adventures in Odyssey.
Of course, Adventures in Odyssey. Homeschoolers, for some reason, always vibed with Adventures in Odyssey. They really did. Hard.
What other series am I missing?
I remember there was what was that one Bible, walking Bible? It was blue.
Oh, Salty, the talking Bible.
The talking Bible. There was, if you got TBN Kids, which was the kids version of TBN, you had Dooley and Friends, which was upgraded Barney. And then you had...
You remember Prayer Bear? Did you have Prayer Bear?
I don't remember Prayer Bear.
It was really bad.
Thank God I don't remember it then.
It was literally a teddy bear that prayed. It was so boring.
And it was probably the storyline went oh, hey, here's this kid. Here's their problem. Here's Prayer Bear. Enter Prayer Bear. What does Prayer Bear do? Prayer Bear prays.
If you're having a problem, you should pray. Yeah.
Everything gets better. Show ends.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like a very boring premise.
Yeah.
But we had that. There was also Boz the Bear for the wee little kids. Do you remember that at all?
I do not.
I remember that because my mom ran a nursery. And so she always had to have the latest
looking
material.
For content everywhere.
Oh, do you all remember the Go Fish guys?
Go Fish guys. I don't.
The Go Fish. I think they're still actually operating. I don't know. But that was a trio band. And let me tell you a kids group that I really like right now is the Lads. The Lads TV. They're actually from.
Is this
New
current
Zealand.
Day kids content?
It's current day kids.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm
content.
kind of out of touch with the current kids content.
Well, they've been around for a while, but they were really good. But basically, anything on TBN is what I watched. I remember I would wake up in the morning and my mom would have Paula White playing. The Paula White jingle is what woke me up in the morning, and then later in the day, you'd have Perry Stone on. With Manifest with Perry Stone, you can miss that. Everybody stopped to watch Manifest, and then I'm trying to remember. Then at some point you'd have Creflo Dollar come on. A Creflo Dollar, We didn't listen to everything. We didn't pay that much attention, but he was good to have on in the living room when you were doing stuff.
So yeah, you grew up like listening to preaching and stuff
pretty
a lot.
much
Like
24/7.
I really didn't. I would tune that stuff out. Like
Really?
because I grew up in church, so I wasn't trying to watch it on TV. You know, when I got home from school, the one thing I looked forward to watching was Liberty Kids.
Liberty Kids. I remember Liberty
Kids on PBS, which there was a few PBS shows that my parents were like not okay with because like, this is public indoctrination.
Dragon Tales.
Dragon Tales.
Demonic.
That was. It's like the most innocent show ever. Which, you know, that's the funny thing is that like, this is where I'm so. Because, like, as a kid, like, you really want to be better safe than sorry. As a parent, of looking out for your kids, better safe than sorry. But then looking back on it, you're like, you know, there really wasn't anything really that wrong. But when, like we were just talking about earlier, as a parent, I guess you always have to side on safety when you're thinking about, like, what you're letting kids watch.
You do. Yeah, you know, our parents are like that. It wasn't ever anything, and a lot of people that are watching probably relate with this too. Their parents probably did similar things, probably had updated standards and, you know, what some would say are strict standards for media consumption. But, I mean, the truth is that it didn't really hurt anybody.
No.
Not only did it not hurt anybody, it was out of good intentions.
Yeah.
It genuinely was.
Intentions.
It wasn't like, oh, I don't want to hear that in the living room.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, no. If they watch that, I mean, watching Dragon Tales, I mean, who knows what could happen next? Next we know they're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, it's like awful.
Yeah, and I guess, like, as a parent, it's like, do you really want to take the 30 minutes to watch the show to make sure it's okay?
Of course not. And that was half of it, too.
Yeah,
like
most of it was just practical time.
Yeah.
It's like, I know this show is made by people I trust, so I'll let my kids watch this. And so I'm nothing but thankful because, like, you know, you only have your innocence once as a kid. Like,
you do.
Like once you lose that, like there's nothing you can do. And so
unless Jesus restores
it.
Amen.
And I believe
he can do.
Yeah, I believe he can. But, you know, and I was thinking about it in that perspective that, you know, once like you're compromised as a kid when people put certain thoughts, like think about how easy it is to make a kid think something.
Just an idea.
An idea. And so when I started thinking about it in that way, I was like, man, you know, yeah, maybe they were a little strict with some of the things I watched and played, but man, like if the wrong ideas, the wrong thoughts would have gotten inside me at a young age, how would that have shifted the way I thought about everything the rest of my life?
Well, when you're a kid, I mean, the information, the ideas you have, it's not just so much that you get that in your head, it shapes your perception of everything else.
Yes.
So, and when you're exposed to, say, even the Bible or a biblical thought later on, it can impact how you see that based off of what you saw in some TV show or movie your parents were like, whatever, and let you watch, which is why I think they cared. I think that's part of the reason they cared so much is they understood that. I remember the first PG-13 movie I think I went to. I went with my, this is like, I can count on one hand the amount of times I've gone to the movies with my mom. Mom, my dad, and my brother. Because I always either went into a movie like with my dad or with the youth group.
Yeah.
We went to see The Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes, I remember that too.
Chronicles of Narnia, which of course, I mean, which by the way, I'm a huge Narnia fan. I don't ever talk about this on my social media. I've read the whole book series multiple times, watched all the movies.
I
when
love
I was
the
younger.
first two.
The third movie was.
I hated the third.
Pretty
movie.
awful. Let's just be real here. That was awful.
But in Narnia, you remember the last scene where Aslan, spoiler alert, gets sacrificed or killed on that altar? That was scary.
That was pretty intense. If you look back and you go back and watch it on YouTube or something, it was a pretty intense
There's
scene.
that demon-looking bat thing that's like flying over him.
Oh, you got to bring that up. I remember that.
Dude, that scene like scared me to death as a kid.
Well, it's like,
and I don't know how my parents let me watch that based on the standards set for everything else. But I guess it was like,
I remember it was
that's Jesus.
It was pretty intense. I was about to say, I was like, it was pretty intense in the theater. But I remember my dad at one point leaned over. He's like, "Now you know what Aslan represents, right?" I was like, it's really scary. Jesus? That's right. Represents Jesus. I guarantee you that lion's gonna come back from the dead.
And that's why it's okay.
Exactly. But I think a lot of it with our parents, they did that. I think a lot of it is it's really good because it teaches us to guard our hearts even now. Even now we're adults. I say I'm an adult. As in, I mean, like, I can go watch an R-rated movie if I want to now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my. The question, though, is with half the stuff we watch, we didn't understand as a kid probably what our parents were trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And it was really more just like they wanted to keep us clean from the world, which is something we should be doing even now. And it's very underrated. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this.
Yeah.
Is keeping your heart clean. You know, the Bible says, hold on, what does it say? It says in Proverbs, I wrote it down. Proverbs 4:23, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Mm-hmm. Which is funny. If you read that in other translations, it actually says, for out of it springs all the matters of life. It infers that, like, what goes on inside of your heart will dictate your entire life. Yeah. Which, of course, ties into Jesus, having Jesus in your heart, and it ties into baptism of the Holy Spirit, sanctification. It ties into all that good stuff. But I think what a lot of it is when it comes to guarding our heart is just guarding what goes into our eyes and our ears on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And I think that, I know I'm on a soapbox right now, but not to just be on a soapbox, but a lot of it isn't as much even just keeping certain things out of our minds and out of our hearts, but putting the right stuff in.
Yeah.
So I think that especially when people have like kids and stuff, my parents did a good job of it. You know, my mom, she always was pushing me to read the Bible, and I always had plenty of good material around, because half of it isn't just like keeping the wrong things in, but it's putting the good stuff in too. It's reading your Bible every day. You know, it's listening to good sermons. It's watching, you know, good Christian media, and things like the Frick Frack podcast, which you guys can always watch and listen to.
Always comes back to that plug.
It always comes back to a plug, but you know, I think it's parent approved. I think my mom would have.
I think so.
Well, I don't know. She might have heard the name and been like,
yeah, the name.
Maybe talk to your father.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier. You know, we were concerned about the Karens coming on the show and getting upset with some of our opinions, but then we said, you know what? Any Karen that comes to our show and is thinking about listening to it would be turned away by the name alone. Mm-hmm. Frick frack. It just filters them all out.
Which isn't even, it's never been intended to sound like a Christian cuss word. It just was funny because it was in a video I did.
Yeah.
But just for that exact thing. But a lot of it is that too. People just, you know, they don't really pay attention to the media. They just really try to go off of what they feel their kids should be watching. I think that's a good thing. And I think even now, with social media, the way I scroll through Instagram, I've had to catch myself sometimes, because you'll be scrolling through and you'll see stuff. I mean, really, you shouldn't be putting in your head at all.
Yeah.
There are certain things that are very vulgar, you know, just overtly sexual, just whatever, where it's just, and it's in your feed these days.
Yeah.
It's not like a channel where you used to have to like click intentionally to turn it. These days it just shows up. Mm-hmm. So it's even more so when you're dealing with just guarding your heart and keeping yourself clean. You got to be really intentional about the stuff you watch, listen to, read. And it's something that's very important that I think we all could do better in.
Yeah, you know? And I think that's such a good point, because in this modern day, it is increasingly hard to guard what's coming in your heart. But, I mean, if you can at least, control those things as much as you can. But if you can take proactive steps to be putting the right things in your heart, which is reading, praying, hanging around people that can encourage you, going to church. And so those are things you can take. Those are in your control. And so that's things that we can do every day just to at least balance out everything else that the world is trying to dump on us.
Exactly. It's like those boomer Facebook posts that you see where it's like, oh, so you've spent 4 hours in Facebook? What about in his book? You know, that kind of thing. But it's there's a truth to it. You know?
There's a lot of truth in a lot of what boomers say. It's just they put it into like the most black and white way that it turns so many people off.
Yeah, it's always like that though. But I have my Bible app on my dock of my iPhone, which sounds cool. It sounds like I'm trying to flex, like, you know, oh, my Bible dock's
it is a subtle
my
flex.
Bible app's in the dock. But can I be honest with you? If I was to go in my phone right now, which I can't do because I'm recording with it on my stand, but if I was going to pull up screen time, I guarantee you the screen time of Instagram on my phone is probably at least double of my Bible app, which is something I should probably change. And I think don't judge me either, because if you go look at your screen time in the settings, it's probably exactly the same way.
Well, I don't read the Bible on the phone. I use my large KJV. So.
Of course. Well, that's what the liars say, so you don't pull up screen time. I could have pulled that a minute ago, and I could have been like, well, the screen time isn't up as high on my Bible app because I use a real Bible. I didn't do it, though, guys. I didn't do it.
I had to pull that card.
I had to pull that card. But no, it's a matter of fact, while I'm talking about you guys and what you guys are doing with your phones and your Bible app, how are you walking in your Christian life? This is a good time to talk about the new thing we're adding to the podcast, Jonathan.
Yes.
What was it called?
The mailbag.
The mailbag. Have you ever wanted to ask yours truly a question and then have me answer it in an absurd, ridiculous way, and him be the voice of reason, maybe to
and
actually
calm him
answer
down,
the
bring him back
question?
down to earth, and then we actually maybe give you a slither of a reasonable answer, maybe just a little bit. I mean, we are two single young guys, so there's only so much knowledge we can share with you. But
Sure.
whatever we have, we'd like to, and you can do that by sending your questions or comments to frickfrackpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. I will answer your questions right here on the show. You'll probably see it on Instagram too, because let's be honest, those are going to be good clips. I know there's a few people on Instagram right now that keep making memes and tagging me and things about ranch on fries due to my very outspoken beliefs there.
Yeah,
If you like to ask me about sauce preferences, Chick-fil-A orders, all the way to actually talking about things in the Bible or things that are going on in our lives, feel free to send it to the mailbox.
Yes, and once again, that's frickfrackpodcast@gmail.com for our audio listeners. Send your questions. We'd love to answer them.
There you go. And we'll answer them here on the show. That's going to be a regular thing every week, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that something
every episode with at least just us. I don't know about guest episodes.
Yeah, guest episodes, we got to give them a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Guests like to plug stuff. They have to plug their stuff. They got to make sure everybody knows about their new their podcast or whatever it is, that they're doing.
Yeah, but we want to engage with you guys, so please send your questions to the mailbag, and we'll be sure to answer those.
Thank you so much. And thank you always as well to our patrons on Patreons. You guys support this show. Love you all so much. There's a link in description if you'd like to check that out if you're on YouTube. If you're not, go to patreon.com/Taylor Ransom. You guys can become a part of the show. It's very awesome. And also, don't forget, tell them our two guests, Schaefer.
Our two upcoming guests are Tim Shropshire and Casey Doss. So be on the lookout for those episodes dropping in the soon future, and make sure to drop that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you're alerted as soon as every episode drops.
Subscribe and get ready. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching with us today. I'm going to be honest, Schaefer, half the time we're talking, we should just have mics on. I think our best podcast, guys, would be the ones where we're not intentionally recording.
I was just about to bring that up. It's because most of the time, me and Taylor will just it's usually right before we're about to leave somewhere.
Yeah.
We're about to leave somewhere, and one of us brings up something, and then we just talk for 20 minutes, and then I was like, you know what? That was probably better than anything we've ever recorded on Frick Frack, and I'm really upset about it. And so that's something we're getting better at.
Yeah,
we're becoming more conversational on Frick Frack, because sometimes the cameras and the microphones,
the lighting,
it puts you in a headspace that you're not usually in. But
right,
we're getting better at this, I think, and so.
But yeah, we're gonna keep growing, keep moving on. Thank you guys so much for listening and being a part of the process. Y'all are a part of this thing.
Yes.
This isn't. I love how much when I see people commenting on this on YouTube about this thing or DMing me about subjects we talked about. It means so much to me, because it's not just me talking out a microphone anymore.
Yeah.
It's y'all talking back, and that means so much to me.
Yeah, and if you have someone that you think would enjoy this show, tell them about it, because the best way that we can grow this show, I think, is not just likes and shares and all that stuff, which is appreciated, and we thank you for all that. But anytime a friend like you or any of our other friends recommends me a show or a TV series or anything, that immediately climbs the charts in my head of the things that I should watch or listen to.
Right.
So if you have someone in mind that you think would enjoy Frick Frack, tell them about it.
Share it with them.
Word of mouth is the most powerful thing that we have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we'll see you all 2 weeks from now.
Yes, with another amazing guest episode.
Love you all so much. Really do. Peace out.